即係香港嘅家庭觀念係都好重下嘅，我覺得香港人嘅家庭觀念。
日本人は結構他人に同調したり他人に合わせたりするっていうのがその日本の文化やと思うのでそこが
한국에서는 약간 새로운 사람들 만날 때 약간 소극적인 편인데 여기서는 이제 새로운 사람들과 소통도 많이 하고 약간 스몰 토크라고 하죠 미국에서.
And how do you feel working in US as a Chinese person?
I would say it's probably totally different.
然后加上我们也蛮热情的，然后就是愿意帮助彼此。但在美国的话，我发现
我那时候杭州我是好久没回去了，12年了。
How Vietnamese do you think you are from 1 to 10?
Historically, the city has been predominantly white, largely due to the influence of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, also known as the LDS Church. But over recent decades, its demographic landscape has become more varied. The city's population includes growing communities of Hispanic or Latino residents, African Americans, and immigrants from various parts of the world, particularly from Asia. So in this documentary video, let's listen to the story of Asians from diverse cultural backgrounds. Listen to the culture shock they've met and all kinds of shocking and fun experiences they've had in Salt Lake City.
My name is James Lau. I'm 22. I was born and raised in Hong Kong, and I came to the U.S. After I finished grade 10, and then I went to Montana to study grade 11 as an exchange student. But instead of finishing high school, I went straight into community college to study liberal arts, and 2 years later, I came to Utah to study to get my bachelor's in quantitative analysis of markets and organization.
And so did you find out anything very difficult to adapt when you first came to US?
As I said, like I really wanted to improve in my English, so I wasn't really good at speaking at first when I first came to the US, so I had a really hard time expressing myself. That was a challenge. That was a big challenge for me. Like either that's like in school or just talking to friends in general. Yeah.
So how do you think the Cantonese food in US generally?
I think the Cantonese food in the U.S. generally, it really depends on which state. For example, like in California, it's really good. Because a lot of Cantonese, it's pretty authentic over there in California. I've been there a few times, but in Utah, there's not as many options, but you can still maybe find one or two good Cantonese restaurant.
Okay. So how about the people's personality here? Like how they differs from people in Hong Kong?
Sure. I'll say I can't really speak for all the Hong Kongers, but for me personally, in my perspective at least, I think Hong Kongers, they're more introverted compared to just US people in general. Because for example, Hong Kong people, they won't really start a conversation with you if we just meet for the first time. But here in the States, it's very common to see people asking about each other's life, even if it is just our first time meeting. Yeah.
So finally, could you use Cantonese to briefly summarize the culture difference between Hong Kong and the United States?
Okay, yeah, sure. Okay. 係咯，我覺得香港同美國好大嘅分別就係喺個家庭觀念上面，即係香港嘅家庭觀念係都好重下嘅，我覺得香港人嘅家庭觀念特別係例如喺 holiday 嘅時候即係我哋香港人係會 好即係好常見到，就係一家人出去食飯啦。但係可能喺美國好多時候 holiday 嘅時候，你會見到好多美國嘅人，佢哋都會同身邊嘅 friend 啊，可能出去 hang out，出去可能酒吧飲下酒啊咁樣，或者係啦，即係未必會話好family oriented。
OK，謝謝。
Hello, my name is Sangyeon Park. I'm from South Korea, Seoul, and I'm transfer student from UT Asia campus. So I'm senior now. So when it comes to my major is communication, but I'm studying information system as a minor.
And do you find anything very difficult to adapt when you first came to US?
Actually, since I came here, the culture of like processing the work is very unique and tough for me, because in Korea when they have a work or they do stuff as quickly as possible, but in USA they process the work like slowly, so it was very hard to me to adapt.
And how do you think of the food in US? Is there anything it's pretty weird and strange for you?
Oh yeah, to be honest, I don't like American food because when it comes to tasty, it's so salty, and I don't like. Yeah.
Okay. And how do you think of the Korean food in US?
There are a few Korean restaurants in USA, but I don't like it either because when it comes to price, it's too expensive compared to Korean restaurant, and when it comes to tasty, it's a little bit similar, but it's not the same tasty like Korean restaurants. So I don't recommend.
Okay. And do you mind share one of your hard time you've ever experienced when you first time came to US?
Actually, to be honest, I don't like America because when I came here at the first time, I'm very lonely because there's no one I know, so it's very difficult for me to adopt American life, like meeting new people or finding Korean people, and I miss my parents and my friends in Korea. But now I'm okay because perfect.
Okay, finally, 그 한국 문화와 미국 문화의 차이점을 말해주세요.
일단 미국 문화는 굉장히 일처리가 느리고요, 한국에 비해서. 그리고 이제 한국에서는 약간 새로운 사람들 만날 때 약간 소극적인 편인데, 여기서는 이제 새로운 사람들과 소통도 많이 하고 약간 스몰 토크라고 하죠, 미국에서. 그런 것도 많이 하는 편인 것 같고, 그리고 또 이제 외식 문화에 있어서 좀 다른 것 같아요. 미국은 외식을 잘 안 해요. 왜냐면은 이제 서비스 팁도 줘야 되고 약간 비싸기도 한데, 근데 한국은 외식을 엄청 하거든요. 그런 차이도 있는 것 같습니다.
Hi, my name is Tomoki. I'm from Osaka, Japan. I'm an exchange student, and my major is linguistics, and I've been here for 6 months or 7 months, and yeah.
And could you share anything like you find out very difficult to adapt since you arrived US?
Since I didn't know the culture of the US, I needed the time to take an appropriate word when I have a conversation with someone.
Okay. And do you find any food is very strange and weird in US?
I think sweets and drinks are sometimes different and weird for me.
Okay.
For example, like American people often add like ice creams or sugars or whatever to the sweets or drinks, sodas. So sometimes it's too sweet for me.
Yeah.
And kind of weird.
And do you mind to share the sushi in US?
Sometimes sushi in the US are weird, like a California roll.
Why is weird? For that.
It's like just I've never seen them in Japan, and yeah.
I never see they put avocado in sushi, right?
Oh no, I've never seen sushi with avocado.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Okay, so next question is, do you mind share one of your hard time you've ever experienced since you came to US?
Since I'm not good at listening to English, especially when it goes faster, I sometimes hard to catch up with conversation. For example, during classes, I sometimes have group works or peer works, and I'm just like I listen to everyone speaking, and just I was there. I was in a group.
Just
Yeah.
feel hard to keep pace with the professor.
Yeah.
Finally, could you use Japanese to summarize the culture difference between Japan and the
Yeah,
US?
okay. アメリカ人は結構自分の意見とかを持っていて、気持ちとか考えを正直に伝えると思うんですけど、日本人は結構他人に同調したり他人に合わせたりするっていうのが日本の文化やと思うので、そこが日本と違う文化かなって思いました。
Hello guys, my name is Yiran. I'm from Wuxi, China. I'm 27 years old right now and I worked 2 years so far in the US.
And please tell us briefly how you find the current job in US as an international student.
Honestly, it's pretty difficult. You just gotta put yourself out there and get on LinkedIn, reach out to professors, reach out to all the people you meet, go to career fair. You just gonna send out those emails, try to make connections, networking, and hopefully you got some.
And how do you feel working in US as a Chinese person?
I would say it's probably totally different within China. I would say the working environment is pretty chill. We don't really overwork and everyone's kind of friendly, at least to me.
Yeah, that's pretty good. And finally, do you want to tell us or give the international students some advice how you really find a job and for those want to stay in US in the end?
I would say if you want to stay here, you gotta start as soon as possible. Like if you have a sophomore year, you gotta start talking to a professor, try to get internships. If you can, try to reach out to people, alumni on their LinkedIn, do that, and go to any conference or networking event as you can. Yeah, good luck out there, guys.
Thank you.
I'm Andy. I'm currently double majoring in biology and international studies. I'm from Taiwan and my dad is from Hong Kong. My mom is from Taiwan.
Is there any difficulty you've ever experienced when you first time came to US?
Okay. I think for me, that's a good question. Let me think. I thought I was a really independent person. I'm independent enough to live by myself. But actually, I found it pretty hard because there's not a lot of family supports here, and I'm also I'm really far away from my family too. So finding at first here, it's kind of alone. To be honest. Yeah.
And how do you think about the Taiwan food in US?
I think that's a good question. Taiwanese food is here. Yeah, I would say it's as authentic as the one in Taiwan. But I would say, for example, like boba. I think for here, the boba here, their tea was awful. I feel like their tea is like full of like syrup, sugars. It tastes really sweet. There's not a lot of flavor of tea in the boba. So yeah, that's one of the things that I hate the most here.
But how about like the food, Taiwan food in California, in Chinatown, where it gets better?
I would say yeah, because there's a lot of there are more Taiwanese in the West Coast, right? And like there's more options and more better food, more authentic food for sure. Yeah.
Okay, and finally, 你可以用 Mandarin 就是国语说一下台湾人的性格和美国人的性格，还有整体的文化有什么不一样吗？
我觉得台湾人比较团结啦，因为就台湾人他们可能对彼此的依赖性蛮高的，然后加上我们也蛮热情的，然后就是愿意帮助彼此。但在美国的话，我发现就是美国人，因为他们好像都有自己的 schedule， 然后他们也有自己的事情要忙，所以很多时候你会发现，就是你很难跟这个朋友 hang out 啊，或者你很难跟这个朋友出去玩啊，或者是很难去参加一起活动啊，所以有很多时候都是要靠自己，然后反而在台湾的时候，很多时候可以互相帮助这样子的。
Hello, I'm Jason. I was born and raised in San Diego, California. I go to the university, taught my 4th year, and I'm majoring in computer science.
And how about your background information?
So I'm a Chinese American. So my parents were from China. My mom's from Hangzhou. My dad's from Beijing. And I can speak 2 languages as a result. So I can speak Chinese and English.
And are there any fun facts about you?
I've heard a lot from international Chinese students that they didn't know that I was Chinese American. They thought I was a Chinese exchange student or international student from China. So it's pretty difficult for them to see that I am I'm American.
And how about your experience in China?
Oh, I've always tried to blend in with the people. I don't want to let them know that I'm Americans. And luckily, they haven't really figured it out yet because my Chinese is actually pretty good, I think.
And is there any, what kind of like language you speak with your parents? For example, if you argue with your mom, what language you will speak?
Well, if my mom is arguing with me in Chinese, then I always respond in Chinese. But if it's something that I get really angry about, I switch to English. And so if my mom is also arguing with me in English, then I also respond in English.
Okay. Do you experience any culture difference or culture shock when you move to Utah for study?
Well, in San Diego, there's a huge Asian population, so I always felt comfortable because they always all looked like me. But when I came to Utah, I wasn't used to all the white people. To put it nicely, I guess. But yeah, I'm just not used to living with another culture that doesn't look like or don't have the same culture as us. And so I think that's a culture shock that I experienced since coming to Utah.
And how Chinese do you think you are from 1 to 10?
7. Because I think I understand the Chinese culture really well, and I can also speak the language pretty fluently as well. So that's why I think probably 7.
And here's an extra question for you. So if you comes to any relationship, do you prefer white girl or Asian people?
Definitely Asian people.
Why is that?
The culture is definitely much similar to what I've used to growing up in an Asian household. And I think white girls are a bit more, how should I say this, more wild.
Just too many culture difference?
Yeah, just the culture difference.
Okay. So, okay, finally, please, or can you use Chinese to introduce yourself a bit?
Hello, 我叫 Jason， 我是从加州的圣地亚哥。我来犹他去读大学，现在是大4，读 CS 专业。
你有没有去过中国？上次去中国的经历是什么？
所以我今年3月份去了中国杭州，那边我
看了很多亲戚。
然后我去看了一下外公外婆，我跟妈妈一起去看了一下外公外婆，也在杭州。在旅行了一下，因为我杭州12年，我那时候杭州我好久没回去了，12年了，所以我回去的时候，去看一下我小时候吃的地方，西湖啊，我也吃了一些挺好吃的中国菜。
Hi, my name is Jacob. I was born in Vietnam and I moved to California when I was 5. I have 4 sisters and a brother. And I'm a 3rd-year student studying computer science at the U.
Are there any fun facts about you?
I'm really bad at Vietnamese, and I hit Radiant in Valorant and Masters in League.
What language you speak with your parents?
I speak Vietnamese with my parents mostly.
And if they speak Vietnamese to each other, or if they speak Vietnamese to you, how you gonna do if you don't understand?
If I don't understand what they're saying, usually I just try to ask my sister, who usually explains it to me. But if she's not there, then I try to Google Translate.
How Vietnamese do you think you are from 1 to 10?
On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm probably like a 5.
Why is that?
I really enjoy like the Vietnamese culture, but I suck at Vietnamese.
Okay, could you describe your growing up life in Irvine?
In Irvine, so I grew up in a predominantly Vietnamese community, but then in high school I moved to Huntington Beach, where it was like the majority were white people, and so it was just a little bit different, and it was kind of weird being a minority.
Is there any culture shock you've ever experienced when you moved to Utah?
Yeah, there's a lot of white people here, and they're all really nice people.
Okay, finally, could you use Vietnamese to introduce yourself a bit?
Yeah, tên của con là Jacob, con học computer science and con là 2 tuổi.